What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday night, which means it's time for another Toypixx live stream. And for tonight, I've got some figures in front of me. I'm going to show you how I pose this stuff. So you might have some tips for me. I might have some tips for you. We'll be chatting all the posing things when it comes to action figures for your figure photography. And then who knows what else? We all know the esteemed chat will, in fact, take us all down all kinds of crazy and winding roads, which is, of course, half the fun. So, with that, if you're part of the replay crew, tell me what kind of poses you would like to see done for next time if you don't see them done in this one, and I'll see what I can do. I've got to make more of the real videos for all this stuff too, just to have a little more fun. We're going to show these. I'm sure they're going to be blown out a little bit. Like, I've got Ryu in front of me. Probably a bad idea. I probably should grab Evil Ryu just because of the way the lights are in here. But those are adjustments and things I need to worry about in the future. So with that, let's get chatting with the chat and see what's going on with everybody. We have Tommy Tyner. What's up, Tommy? Good to see you tonight, man. Anton, the last of the Time Lords, is indeed here. Good to see you as well, Anton. See, I don't care what anyone says about Alien Earth. It was really good. It's scary and spooky and weird and glorious, or were you going with gory? I'm good either way. I need to see Aliens, and then I might jump in on Alien Earth and see what happens. We'll see what the chat tells me to do. Sci-fi greetings and toytations, everyone. Apparently, the new Maximum is Deadpool. He comes with a pretty good-looking paint job, one extra head that shows the bottom part of his face, 4 extra pairs of hands. I'm going with hands because I saw this one. 2 katanas, 1 knife, burrito or chimichanga, several guns, and dupe with a stand. He looks like he might be on the Maximum Spider-Man buck with a few tweaks. He'll be up on August 26th on Hasbro Pulse and other fan channel sites for $50 at around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Honestly, besides the new buck and better paint job, the 2-pack featuring Deadpool and Bob, Agent of Hydra, is more Maximum. Ooh, called out. Not only did he come with a full-sized extra figure, Bob, who also had his own accessories, and as a bonus, you can add him to your Hydra army. If I remember properly, that pack was 40 or 45 bucks. Doom is roughly a 3.75, or Dupe is roughly 3.75. Anton, greetings, sci-fi. Do not worry, I already checked your comments in the future, and you're okay, or was that a couple weeks ago? Don't worry about it. Hey, check out my crystal ball pick tonight. I'm having so much fun with them. Will do, Mr. Matson. Back to you, sci-fi. Let's see, inch figure, 3.75 inch figure with, let's see, even more than 3 points of articulation. 5K Toys has a male and female T-Rex for sale on their site with 25 POA and is 16.5 inches in length. I think, did we talk about those last week? Maybe not. Oh yeah, Time Lords. Oh no, I haven't heard that name since I was there. Oh dear. Now we're getting into all kinds of craziness with Doctor Who's It, or is it My Lives? Skew, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for keeping everybody in the loop and chatting and hanging out and having a good time. Always good to see you on here, sir. Sci-Fi Anton, Pepperidge Farm remembers. Pepperidge Farm remembers everything. My pick dropped at the same time as this live stream is supposed to start. All right, we will go find it. Some Skew Raider, long time no chat. It's been so long. The latest talk amongst the toy collective is a Cobra Arctic Hiss tank coming out. It's been, 3 years since the original HasLab. So according to Emily, they can come out with a new version of it with less. Hello, Paul. Good to see you tonight, man. Thanks for stopping in. And thanks, as always, for keeping the people involved. Electronics, different paint job, alterations here and there. That way, it doesn't disrespect the people who paid for a one-of-a-kind, unique, never-to-be-reissued HasLab project. I understand the hoops those poor HasLab people have to jump through. I will say it's interesting to hear that there sounds like there's a 3-year moratorium on that. So if that's the case and they're laying out that groundwork, I wonder I mean, it's a little late now, but I wonder if the Legends team could have thrown out another Galactus HasLab. Anyway, let's see here. The Marvel Legends team has already, let's see, Skews in for the hisses. Did it in the Real American Hero line, just no bells and whistles. Give us a nice canopy, seat, controls, and treads that move. We're good, different, and awesome. I would be good with that. I would be good with that. Okay, hang on. Let's go back. What'd you have here, Sci-Fi? The Marvel Legends, sorry, team has already. Let me see if I can find what you got, Sci-Fi. I feel like your stuff got jumped all over the place. I'm going to try and finish out what you're saying, and then we'll jump back. Done this with Mephisto, Damian Hellstrom, Madeline Pryor, and the Sentinels. That's fair, except they're not, like the Sentinels aren't really the same, right? The others, I totally agree. That's it for the bi-weekly rundown. Now, back to you, Dave. You're traveling through a dimension, not of sight and sound, but of mind. Look at the sign. Post up ahead, you've just entered the esteemed chat. Thank you as always for the rundown, Sci-Fi. Massively appreciated, man. All right, let's head back and see what's going on. Pick has dropped. You know what? Let's just do that right now. I will find. I will hit explore. Or do I hit search? I think I hit search on here. We will go to show me the picture of the crystal ball. Oh, great. Googly moogly. Wait, okay. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I will absolutely be sharing this screen. I should never try and do any accents. I'm pretty sure I disrespect half the world whenever I try them. Okay, here we go. Is this that crazy looking crystal ball pick you've got going, Mr. Mattson? That is sweet. Did he come with that kind of that similar thing to the Forgotten King on the bottom right there with all the symbols and everything? He must have. Oh, man. Wait a sec. Hold on. We got... Oh, it's crazy how the light just messes with the mask and makes it look like a totally different mask each time. Oh, sir, that is awesome. Yeah, crystal ball is definitely tempting. All right, let's see. And we're waiting for Dave. Wait, no, I'm here. Oh, there he is. What's up, you bunch of posers? What's going on, Brick? Good to see you tonight, sir. How's school so far? Let's see. Good night from Israel. What's going on, you ball? Thanks for stopping by. What a bunch of posers. We're all posers. We're posing away. Oh, it's time. It's time. Check out all 4 images with different lighting and edits. Oh, that was done, my friend. Done with this Mephisto Damian. Oh, wait. Already got that. My bad. I just got a glorious knockoff Ultron. Poses like butter in all sorts of ways. Excellent. Very nice, Brick. It's always cool when you come across a figure that just the joints are buttery smooth. It's fantastic. Tragic. What's up, sir? Thanks for stopping in tonight. Let's see. Oh, you see aliens, all right. I like aliens. Oh, boy. Thank you, Paul. Oh, boy. Now I got to keep hitting buttons. Tommy, I like a running pose. Oh, we'll get to a running pose, Tommy. That'll probably be, we'll start with a walk, then we'll grow right into a run. Harry Brick, that Ultra knockoff is a great looking figure, but his articulation's wonky. Oh, no. Uncarded. What's going on, sir? Thanks for stopping this fine evening. Let's see. We caught it all. I have a lot of issues with Alien Earth, but I understand why some will like it. I'm going to stick with Aliens and the documentaries with 14 hours of extra interviews. Okay, that's awesome. I might need to see some of those too. My main tests of posability are some key positions like the punk band circle, Jerk's logo character in his classic skankin' pose. Google. Oh no. I'm going to have to Google, aren't I? Rick, yeah, that knockoff Revoltech Ultron is something else. Martin, thanks for stopping by, man. Currently working on a Peacemaker figure photo piece while waiting for season 2 to drop. Awesome. That's good timing, man. Can't wait to see what you come up with. Rick, I love it, Harry. As a robot, the uncommon joints work. Admittedly, it wouldn't work with every figure. Super into it, just like the Astrobot's unique joints. Great for boys. You know what? That's something that I always mess with. Okay, how would a transformer be able to actually move? Because you have to think they're robots. Their heads could spin all the way around, and it's always fun to mess with robots in those different kinds of poses, I think. Bots, not boys. All right, great for bots. Great for bots. I'll take a break. Fun times, fun times. One man's trash is another man's treasure. People are buying Mafex reject figures, unpainted heads, missing capes, etc. Ideal fodder for customizers. This is true. This is true. Pixelated, what's up, man? Good to see you tonight. No, keep doing the accents. I mean, I didn't say I was against offending half the world whenever I speak. I'm just saying. All right, let's see. Darkness. Yeah, it's red. CG Toys Hush Batman is here with the Mess Toys Black Spider-Man is on its way. Right. Let's see. Skew, Mr. Madsen, he nailed it. Scotty must be in the red shirt. Oh, no. I've heard good things about that Hush Batman. Hush Batman is always rad. The magic effects and staff are from the Mezco Atticus Doom Necroverse and the book he's holding. Okay, wait a second. Thank you, Sci-Fi. Always appreciated, sir. Schooling's exhausting, but the kids are dope. Well, yeah, school's exhausting for everybody, I think. Even the kids. But as long as the kids are dope, I bet they're like, yeah, our teacher doesn't suck. Which is basically my speak for this person's pretty cool. Let's see, was going to say that looks like some Atticus Doom stuff. All right, this is me not knowing my Atticus Doom. Yep, very nice. He's a great figure. No joints too tight or too loose. Yo, it's rad. I'm more curious to see walking pose than a running. We're going to start with walking. We'll get to running, and then we'll just keep going from there. See what people want to see. Anton, I know what we do. Be your nightmare. If all the shows didn't want to be your friend anymore and the only friend you had in the unit was Duke, I chose a certain first sergeant, a top kick, if you will, to use as posing for classified figures. Because, as I've said many times, he is a great figure. So you'll be seeing some of him. I'll survive with some Duke in my collection. Harry, you might have just convinced me to pull the trigger on it. Then the Mafex goes back. The Mafex goes back in the box. Martin enjoyed Peacemaker Season 1. Season 2 looks even more crazy and hilarious. I need to check out. I still haven't seen, which I know you guys are shocked about. I haven't seen Peacemaker. I haven't seen Creature Commandos, but I love Superman enough. I might actually spring for HBO Max, but we'll have to see. Peacemaker Season 2 first ep airs today. Nice. Or would it be someone stole all your extra hands from all your figures, and it would probably be Mr. Stabby. Mr. Stabby isn't that crazy. Mr. Stabby knows I'd go for him if he stole all the extra hands. Woo. Does everyone know the Funly Toys U.S. warehouse? I do not. Spaded, look up the Mezco Atticus Doom for a super cool photogenic figure with Lovecraft inspiration. I know of Atticus Doom. I just didn't know that all those parts, or a lot of those parts, were his. Let's see, the Necroverse one glows in the dark. He's awesome. Nice. All right. So we've caught up. I have actually caught up on the chat, which is slightly miraculous. So let's start off. Since we're talking Atticus Doom, we're talking Mezco, we're talking all that good stuff, why don't we start with ye old Death Adder? Since Tragic's in the air, in the chat and all that, we'll show this guy off. Plus, he was one I lined up anyway, so we could show off a little bit of Mezco stuff. Now, what we're talking first is a walk. So, let me lay these guys down. I've got a few more in front of me, like I said. And I've also got all their parts. Here's irony for anybody that's a Mezco, well, maybe not irony, but just redundancy, I suppose, for anybody who's a Mezco fan. I saved the Mezco bag but I put the Mezco bag and the Mezco parts in the Ziploc bag. I might need help just up here a little bit. Anyway, here's what we've got. Here's our boy, Death Adder here. Now what I'm going to try to do, and I might not be very successful, but I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to try to set them up so that you're seeing me pose as I go, and I'll explain it. Instead of me holding it down here, trying to pose it like this, I'm going to try and pose it on screen. Might be a little tricky, but I'll give it a shot. Now, whenever you're moving at all, I always like adding just a touch of waist. And this is a walk, so we don't need a lot of waist. But all I did there was turn it ever so slightly, just a slight turn at the waist. Now you can see that his waist is turned ever so slightly this way, which means you want this arm. And like I said, we're doing a walk right now. We're not doing a run. So put this arm back a little bit. So you can see waist is turned this way, and that's a little behind the figure. Now you want this arm to be in front of the figure a little bit for the walk. And I'm using bicep joints. I'm using whatever I can to just move it a little bit. Like I say, for a walk, it's not a big time action pose. It's a nice slow thing. So you don't need crazy angles or anything like that. You just need a bit going on there. Now, because the waist is turned ever so slightly that way, let's also move the head so it's kind of looking straight ahead, a little bit like that. You've got the waist turned a little bit, but the head's looking straight on. Now, because this arm, I mean, you can think of it a couple ways, okay? So the waist is turned this way, which puts this arm in the back, but also makes it so this leg will move forward. And again, we're walking, so we're just going to do a very slight bend and a slight bend at the knee. So it's nothing too crazy there. We might I'll even pull this arm back a little more just to highlight it a bit more. So that arm's back, that leg is slightly forward. Now you just do this with the other leg. You just bend it back some. And sometimes this is where it gets funky. This is where sometimes it's tough to play and figure out. But if you need the figure to balance, which you generally do for a walk, you're going to need to play with the ankles a little bit. You might need to play a little bit with the balls and the hips. So this I can't really do too easily on screen just because I don't know how he's going to stand when I'm holding him in the air. So I am going to try this. Okay. And I'll tell you about the slight adjustments I had to make. Right now, I'm messing a little bit with the thigh swivel, just a touch. Okay, there we go. That's it. I just had to mess a little tiny bit with, I believe it was this thigh swivel to turn the leg just a little bit. And right here, I'll back him up. We've got a convincing walk. So remember, whatever way his waist is turning toward, that leg is forward and that arm is back. And then the other two are just the opposite of whatever those two are. So you've got him looking forward. He's walking. Nothing too crazy with that. So let's make sure if you have your figure, let's see if you guys are having any trouble. I'll look in the chat, see what you've got going on. All right. That Cthulhu background is also from the Atticus Doom set. Dang. Okay. I should have looked at more into him. Let's see, Peacemaker and Creature Commandos, Toypixx. They don't suck, Dave. Also, watch Penguin if you do. That's right. How did I forget about Penguin? Everybody said that's amazing. Spaded One, Mr. Mattson. Yeah, those Mezco original characters are all awesome, and their variants are all kick butt. They kick butt. I am the PG Dave on here, yes? Harry, GYZ HT store. It sells out fast. Guys HT, I've never even heard of that one. Hit it up, gang. Let's see, you get that Savage Crucible Cthulhu Dude brick. Oh, Cthulhu Dude, Savage Crucible. Quick warning, Gunn's TV shows are way different from Superman. Let's just say James Gunn had to behave while filming Superman. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm okay with like Superman. He's a certain kind of character, and everybody else is a different kind of character. So that would make sense for different content, different tones, all that stuff. What I'm saying is, when it came to Superman, I definitely trust that James Gunn knows what he's doing with DC's characters because he crushed it with Supes. So I trust that he knows what he's doing with everybody else. But here's the kicker: I don't know. I don't know Creature Commandos. I don't know Peacemaker that well. So I'll just have to hope he's kind of nailing it as I try and watch it. It's on BBTS. Oh, the Savage Crucible one? Let's see. I'm getting all Mr. Madsen's on the Savage Crucible. He looks dope. I think Loose Collector's doing a huge Cthulhu. Did I see that right? Let's see. Somebody is. Pose that up with that fire. Oh, he's posed up with that fire. Huge dragons and Cthulhu. It's fire time. Ah, dragons. I didn't get the Savage Crucible Cthulhu. I might get the upcoming Realm of the Black Tide one. I'm partial to giant Cthulhu characters, at least in the 8.5-inch plus. Legion's Ogre Scale or Trolls with custom heads, etc. Nice. What's up, Kyrus? Good to see you tonight, man. Ah, that Mezco looks cool. He is very cool, Kyrus, for sure. Mezco Destro's down to 50. I know. I keep hearing it. Fire pose. Thank you, Skew. I appreciate it. You're more or less doing what Ray Harryhausen used to do with his models. Hey, I'll take that. I'll take that any day. Thank you, Anton. Kyrus, thank you, man. Thanks for saying hi to the people. Peacemaker Season 2 is a sequel to the Superman movie. Oh, excellent. I want to get Sparky the Mezco Gangster Toypixx, crossing my fingers, waitlisted. I thought that looked really good too, Kyrus. I almost pulled the trigger on the wait list. I didn't. I hope you're able to pull it off, man. He does look like a lot of fun. And I've always thought gangster stuff was cool. Tomorrow's post is alien themed with classified Joes fighting them with pulse rifles, etc. Nice, Mr. Madsen. That'll be cool. Kyrus, I'm considering waitlisting that too, but I've never ordered from Mezco Direct. Ooh, spaded. See, my problem, if I thought it was coming out in a year, I probably would do it. But in the next month or two, I'm a little less apt to do it. Brick, I haven't heard about a Loose Collector Cthulhu, but maybe you're thinking Star Arc, or maybe it was Medi Ling Ji Hoon, or even In Art. I do not know. She nailed it. Sweet. That gangsta. Mezco and that big dude from Baki will fit in with Bulletproof. Oh, that's right. I didn't think of that. Yo, what's up, Mirage? Good to see you tonight, man. Nolan, thanks for stopping in. We're having all the fun now. All right, so that was a walk using just the Mezco. I know we've all got Mezco figures. Well, not everybody, but here's the thing. All the articulation on this guy, pretty much every other figure we have has, with the exception perhaps of, say, like maybe a Marvel Legend because it's a waist cut instead of a ball peg. But if you're collecting 1/12 scale, you can do this kind of pose with pretty much anything you've got. It's just the Mezco was the first one I had on hand. Now, let's jump in and let's play with one of those running poses right here. So this is what I'm talking about. That's going to be a bright Ryu going on. We've got Ryu. Now, all that a running pose is going to be is kind of an exaggerated version of that walking pose. Kind of loose. I think I've been using Ryu a bit. So here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to twist him a little more to the side. And he's still going to be looking forward. So I did the twist here going this way again. Now we're going to go a little more Marvel versus Capcom. We're going to go a little more How to Draw Comics the Marvel way here. So this isn't how any of us would look running, but these are super people here. This is all kinds of craziness. And keep in mind, adjustments will likely be made. So we've got this arm's going to be back quite a bit. Now I'm going to lean him forward a touch because this is going to be a big time run. Remember, his torso's turned this way, which means this hand is back. I'm also going to angle his head. Well, maybe not enough to pop it off. Angle it up so he's looking ahead. And now this arm is going to be, it kind of depends sometimes when you're figuring this stuff out. Sometimes you want it like this. It just kind of depends on the shot, honestly. You'll set it up, and it might be that it would be better for the shot if the arm were more like this. It might be better for the shot if it were more like this. I tend to think right now for this demonstration, we probably want something a little more like this. And I'm using the butterfly joint to get this arm out front a little bit as well. So there's a little bit of exaggerated posing, just a touch, maybe a little less bend. So I have a little less bend at that elbow, a little less than 90 degrees, or a little more than 90 degrees, I guess. So we've got that arm out there. We've got this arm good and bent. Now, because this arm's back, this leg is going forward. Now, I tend to bend from this part. I don't tend to bend from down here unless I'm going with some kind of really extreme bend. So for whatever reason, I just think this looks better. So right there's what we've got so far. And I might want a little more exaggeration. So let's do that. And now where we really get exaggerated is with this leg going way back there. And then you take the ankle and angle it back. You almost, the more action-y a pose is, you almost want to use as many joints as the figure has to pull it off really well. So there's a really exaggerated running pose. This guy's moving. And I kind of do the same with the elbows that I do with the knees, where I would prefer to bend it more from the top there. It just has a cleaner look, but it's not as important with the elbows as it is the knees, I don't think. Either way, there's what we've got with Ryu running. Now, I like to make sure the head, you basically want to line the head up, not line it up as in straight up and down for the foot. Like, I'm not saying it's got to be directly over the leg. You don't want that. But what you do want is for it to be basically facing the same way that the foot's facing. So now, thankfully, Ryu has good big feet, so we might be able to make this work. I'm trying to get him to stand. Okay, this pose will stand. And you can see oftentimes what happens is the ankle, the foot needs to go angle up this way a little bit from the center of the figure so that it'll balance okay. And right now, well, he did balance okay, but this is where it gets frustrating with action figure photography, is how it gets tricky trying to balance all this stuff. But there he is running. Hopefully that helps out a little bit. Let's see what everybody's chatting about. See if we're helping out. See if people are trying it with their own stuff. Oh, man. Thank you, Paul. Always appreciate it. Pixelated, I'm probably going to catch some grief for this, but if you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, then you've seen a James Gunn movie or show. A bunch of lovable losers cursing and blowing stuff up. I mean, that could be pretty accurate. The only stuff I've seen from James Gunn that I know of was the Suicide Squad, right? So I saw that, I saw Superman, and I've seen the Guardians movies. So those seem to pretty much follow it, although I would say Superman, not so much lovable losers in that one, with the exception perhaps of, Guy Gardner. Who does he really, if he weren't Nathan Fillion, would he really be a lovable loser? Skew, Brick. It was a huge head for a huge Cthulhu figure. I know not which company. See, sounds amazing. Look it up, whatever. Or hook it up, whatever. We might need to find this Cthulhu. Spaded one, me too. Mesco charges crazy shipping charges. Ugh. Must push buttons. Nolan, nice, Dave. Love the Buscema How to Draw Comics, the Marvel Way book. Buscema, I believe. I think I got that right the second time. I always used to say Buscema. Yeah, it was pretty awesome, Rick. I love that. And thank you, man. Yeah, a lot of what I do in photography, I pretty much picked up on from drawing classes and that book specifically just because of the way they do action. So guys, truly, if you haven't read How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, I genuinely think you should pick it up. It's not crazy pricey. I think it's like 10 or 20 bucks. It's less than any of these figures. And if you're really into the photography thing, I think it'll help you a ton. All right. Nicholas, what's going on, man? I use every joint when posing my figures, but I'm too afraid to sometimes because I don't want to break the joints. Yeah, fortunately, a lot of them are pretty tough these days. They're not so bad. See, balancing is a pain in the neck sometimes. Yeah, that's true. And I'm sitting here talking about ankle joints in the feet, but like I did with the first pose, the walking pose, sometimes you get a lot of balancing up in the hip joint as well. So look out for that. You can get the balancing in the hip joint, you can get it in any kind of thigh cut. That's all there, and it's all going to help out quite a bit. And it can usually be subtle enough where you can't necessarily see that that's being used and it's not throwing off the look or anything like that either. Nicholas, haven't read it and it severely improved my drawing skills. Nice, Nicholas. Yeah, man, it's an amazing book and it's still an amazing book. I think people like I used it a lot for drawing when I was growing up. I used it for a lot of illustration when I was in school and I use it for photography. That's why when I brought up, I think in the Cover Girl video, I was talking a lot about drawing with the lens, which all I meant was you're looking through the lens, you're positioning things in the lens. And that's what I think of as drawing for the lens. But in my head, it was diagonals. How would John Buscema do with this? Or, what would I do in a comic? What would they say for a follow through? All those kinds of things. In the back of my mind, I think honestly, one of the biggest influences on all this kind of stuff that I do is How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. That's just what was in the back of my mind whenever I do this stuff. Stanley had a video about drawing the Marvel Way with Todd McFarlane too. I think that it's on YouTube. Awesome, guys. Yeah, okay. If that exists, go find that. Todd would do a heck of a job. Toypixx, the Mafex Stormtrooper might be the best Stormtrooper ever. Great articulation and it looks awesome. Dang it, Kyrus. I didn't want to hear that. I'm sure it's true, though. I mean, Mafex tends to, what I love about Mafex, and I do have a Mafex figure in front of me because duh, but what I do love about Mafex is the fact that when you get one of those figures, it's like, okay, I never have to get this kind of like this look for this character ever again. Like I will never again need this look for Nightwing. I'm done. Mafex nailed it. And I think the Stormtrooper is probably going to follow suit. Okay, uncarded. Anyone else miss those Marvel Select big figs like Immortal Hulk? Some of the best. I think people do kind of miss them, but I also think some stuff is coming out like that Jade Scar or whatever they're calling him now that hopefully will fill in that gap a little for people. I mean, it's its own thing, but it's also got a head that's reminiscent to something. Kyrus, is it the same size / shape as a Han and Stormtrooper disguise? Oh, I don't know. I had heard, I think Kaiju Daddy Pixelated was talking about how basically the Han and Stormtrooper disguise is basically a head swap away from being the Stormtrooper. I might be wrong though. So Kyrus, if you've got them both, feel free, man. Answer away. Okay, let's see here. So we've done running, we've done walking. Why don't we do a nice little, this is, if you guys saw the picture that I posted of Nightwing earlier in the week, he's still in that pose. But instead, how about what I do? And this is why hands are so darned important. I'm going to show a nice little punching pose with Nightwing here. La 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 la. But while I'm doing this, while I'm opening the bag here, Let's see what everybody's chatting about. Oh my gosh, did I? Oh, I thought I found a fist. Let's see. Oh, sweet. Kyrus is checking right now. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. There we go. Perfection. All right, I found the fist for Ye Olde Nightwing because he'll be our demonstration for punching. Ah, I'm trying to put it on there. This stuff is always like, I don't know if it's just because you're on a live stream and you're going, I don't know about this, man. This is really hard. It's always easy to do when you're not trying to figure this stuff out or do it, like in front of a live studio audience. But this wasn't too bad. Okay. So, first off, what I've done is I've turned his body this way a little bit to show a big punch. Obviously, I'm going to incorporate the butterfly joint as much as I possibly can. Use the bicep swivel to go that way a bit. Now, when you're really punching with these things and you really want to make it look good, you want to make sure that they're getting a big swing in. And oftentimes that means get their heads back like that. So right there, it looks like he's punching a lot more than if we just left his head like that. See what I mean? So give it a little more drama. And I like to, when I've got a Mafex figure, like the ball joint at the base of the neck and the ball joint, well, that goes into the head as well. I think those two joints work together to give just a really cool extra pose to the neck there. So a little more there. And we've got that. Now that is with his waist turning. I mean, it's just like the running and the punching pose. So you got that going. Now I'm using the butterfly joint on this back arm to straighten this out a little bit. Like this is, he's taking a big swing and that arm's way back there from that huge swing, right? Now, because he's turning this way, this foot would be in front. And this kind of depends on what you want to do. You could have him punching while he's running, though it's obviously not going to be that big time of a punch. Or you could have him punching while he's standing there. So let's try punching while he's standing there first. It's kind of similar. I mean, it is similar to the running and the walking. Punching while he's standing there, you've got this leg is forward a little bit. If I show you the side here, there you go. Now this leg isn't all that far back. It doesn't necessarily need to be, but if you want to, you can put it a little further back. Sometimes what that does is while it gives it a nice dramatic effect, sometimes it's nearly impossible to stand the figure like that. But if you can pull it off, I always think a little bit of the bend here and this leg back a little more is a better look than just standing straight up. So let me see what I've got here. This is all just messing with the thighs, the ankle joints, and everything else. So there, we've got the punch. We've got Nightwing punching, a big one there. I could even turn his head. Actually, the Adam's apple's a little off there. I could even turn his head a little more. Don't be afraid to not look like what you're going to look like if you do it with comic book figures. These things, especially Nightwing, are supposed to be pretty acrobatic. Now, what I'm also doing is I've got his waist turned this way for the punch, but I'm also arching his back there a little bit just to give it a little extra movement. So there you go. There's a bit of a punch with Ye Olde Nightwing. Now, if you decide that you want to see more or you want a little more action in that shot or in that picture, then you can bring his leg forward a little bit. You could use maybe, say, a copper wire or something to stand him up. Get this a little more down here. And now he's almost jumping and delivering that punch. But if you want him running for the punch, then it's just similar to what we did with Ryu. It's kind of a schmack. This leg's a little forward. He's running, he's delivering a shot. Now, this is also something that when you're looking at a photo, you might not like that his leg kicks out like that. So you just bend it a little bit at the thigh cut, and now you've got a much better punch going on as he's running. Now, again, you're not going to get as massive a hit when you're running, but these are superheroes. Who cares? They're still going to look awesome. Let me see if I got okay with if I can balance this all right. All right, cool. Oop, I thought I had it. I got cocky. That's what happened. Okay, there we go. So he is balanced for a shot like this. So there's a nice little punch. I still would prefer his leg was in a bit. There we go. And there you go. So you set him up for a punch like that, and you're good to go. It just adds a lot more action. It's one of the reasons why I love a ball peg waist. You can get this turn, and you can get this arc back and everything else. And if you need to, you can get that side to side at the waist, which almost all my poses have to a slight degree, which is why I love the ball peg waist. It's good times. So if anybody has any questions about the punching pose, fire away, and let's see what we've got in ye old chat. Hopefully what's going on is you guys are trying this stuff out as I'm demonstrating. Any ideas for 5 POA like Star Wars classics? Man, Tommy, I don't really. I mean, if we go, I'm trying to come up with something right now. It would really be, because they just have, so 5 POA, they just have neck, they have shoulders, and they have hips, right? So I think what I would probably try and do, the best we could do with something like that, is take the hand, put a blaster in somebody's hand, get them kind of running. So you have the blaster in one hand, one arm forward, the other arm way back, and then try and get the legs, try and get them balanced on their legs with the opposite arm. So you have the one arm with the blaster here, which would make the opposite leg go forward, and then try and have the leg behind this arm go backwards a little bit. So you're kind of like, let me see here. Let's back up. We'll demonstrate. I will be the 5 POA figure. You're kind of like this and like this a little bit. And then your legs are a little opposite. So maybe that's what you can do. But I don't know. I think with those, you might be better to try some subtlety. Like move the front foot forward just a little, the back foot forward just a little. Kind of walking poses might be a little more fun, a little easier to achieve. But sometimes if you can get a running blaster pose, that could be really cool. Let's see, that's the most heroic pose that Nightwing has ever done. Nightwing's awesome, man. Thank you, Uncarded. I appreciate it. Looks like a pirouette. Hey, man, the dude was a gymnast. Game on. See, the flying grace and ballet. Yep. I'm trying, let's see, along with the example. So what does the guy receiving the punch look like? How far do we let them bend before it's off? You know what, that one, so one of the big tips that I give people is when you're able, put yourself in the position. That one I couldn't tell you. Like what I'll end up doing oftentimes, and I should have it in here, I have some 12 gauge copper wire that I use on figures that are falling backwards. So the picture I did of CoverGirl where she's hitting the bat with the sledgehammer, I've got him just basically, it's like he's almost horizontal flying through the air. He's on copper wire, but then I edit that out. So I think it just depends on however big the punch is or the kick or whatever. And I think part of what sells how powerful it is whatever position you put the other person in. So if they're totally flat after getting hit with a sledgehammer through the air, it was a pretty good swing. If you're just going a little bit, like I could have done this pose with Nightwing where he's punching Darkseid and Nightwing would still be like this and Darkseid would just be standing there. So, you know, you kind of sell it that way as well. Nothing's going to knock down Darkseid. But I think it really is just however strong you want the hit to be is how you judge where somebody else is going to bend back. And I use all kinds of things. If I have something flat and I've got some putty, I will bend a figure back and lean it against that and then edit out that flat piece if I need to. There's all kinds of tricks to that. But honestly, I can't tell you. Maybe try and use some comics for some reference. But for me, it's kind of by feel. If I want it to look like a big hit, that character is going to look like they're just flying through the air. If it's just a little hit, maybe they're just staggering a little bit. So I think it's kind of dependent on that, Pixelated. Sorry about that. I wish I had a cleaner answer for you, but that one I just can't put my pose or myself in the pose of getting punched in the face. I mean, I could, but I don't want to talk to somebody like that. Let's see, Nightwing and the Black Swan stance. Heck yeah, man. Sci-fi, I love how to draw comics the Marvel way. The slender young man standing next to Captain America and the page on, let's see, about perspectives, bird's eye and worm's eye view. Always stood out for me. Yep, perspective was always key. But the worm's eye and the bird's eye, today I say worm's eye, and a lot of people have no idea what I'm talking about. Well, everybody continue to chat and have fun. Remember, buy more toys, buy more comic books, and always have fun. You too, Anton. Thanks for coming by tonight, man. Always appreciate it. All right, so that was a high quality punch. Now, the one thing with Mafex figures is they're going to get a lot more bend than a lot of your standard figures when it comes to this stuff. So if you're going for the big-time superhero pose, I do tend to really dig my Mafex stuff, but I understand why some might go other ways. Now, let's try a kicking pose, and let's use my man, the Crimson Shadow Infantry. I love this figure. I can't tell you why. Who knows? I think it's because I've always enjoyed the black and red combination, and being in Michigan, adding some gray to the red makes this a truly despicable Buckeye villain. And I think that's just perfect. I don't know, though. Who knows? So what I'm going to do here is for this kick, I'm going to swap out his hand because that's proper. He's going to get the big kick. And the hand for the kicking doesn't necessarily, it's not a huge call. I just know pointer finger probably isn't what I want. So I'm going to pull this, which is kind of a pain. There we go. That wasn't too bad. And I'm just going to put the fist in for the kick. I know. Like I said, the hands for the kick don't necessarily matter, but if you want it to look good and cool and crazy, I'll pull that out of there. Nah, you know what? Let's leave the gun in. Oh, I'm sorry, the blaster. I don't know. I still got to learn what's good on YouTube. All right, so we've got our boy, the Crimson Shadow Infantry. This is a Valaverse figure. It was $27.99. This is a wounded one, by the way. If you guys didn't see my post on X, a wounded figure this thing was perfect. Like it said right on there, here's what's going to happen. It might come separated from the cardboard. It did, and that was legit the only problem. This figure is mint and gorgeous. So if you're on the fence about whether or not to get anything from the Wounded Warehouse, don't worry about it. Go for it. It's good stuff. Now, we're going to go a little bit here. We're going to start with the kick, and we're going to get crazy dramatic with the old kick. There's your high kick. You've got this leg down here. You want to get that going. And if you can, this guy, it's a little tricky just because of all the web gear on him, but it can be done. You want to try and bend the waist a little towards the foot, but keep this foot back here. So here we go right now with a high kick. I had this foot back like this. You don't want it back. You want it like this, because oftentimes with a high kick, what you're doing is you're booting somebody with the heel. So try and do it that way. And now with the arm, like I said, it matters, but it doesn't matter big time, right? Let's see. Sorry, I'm having trouble. That's toy. It's toy. Oh, that's my fault. I had twisted it one way because I could see this red right there. That's right under the armpit, basically. Like that's the joint. I wish that were black. That was the one thing that kind of drove me nuts, but that's what was making the arm tricky to move around. I'll also put those up because it's easier to kick that way, I suppose. So right now, we're moving towards the kick. We're moving towards the heel as much as we can with the waist. Might even try a little turn here. Just a touch. Doesn't need to be too crazy. And we want to move the head that way as well. So he's looking at what he's kicking. Now, oftentimes, I mean, if you're holding a gun like this, you're probably not needing to kick somebody, but he's holding the gun, so that's what's going on. So there you go. It's not a very complicated pose, a kick isn't, but that's what we get when we're trying to pull this stuff off. Remember, the higher you want the kick, the more you want to try and get this leg out. So look at how high that kick just became. This guy doesn't even look like he should be able to kick like that, but he does. And the good part is when you get those poses really nailed down and you know what you want. Like I was just able to stand him up. Like this guy could stand just like this, kicking somebody in the face. So yeah, kicks are a lot of fun. You get your kicks out of kicks. This is why I shouldn't talk when people tell me I can. But yeah, there you go on a good old happening side kick. Now, see what we got pixelated. Yes, exactly the same size, both Hum version and Stormtrooper version. Awesome. Thank you, Kairos. Ooh, I need those. I do. In Michigan, the real heroes wear green and white versus blue and gold. Maize and blue, uncarded. Maize and blue. There's no gold here. What are we? Kings? Only I am a king. I'm just full of crap at this point. All right. That's okay, LBZ. Good to see you tonight, man. The Toy Odyssey. What's up? Very cool of Valid to drop the price to $27.99 for the core characters starting in Series 6. I know. I paid for the Wounded Warehouse version of this guy the same price that brand new figures are going to come out for next year or with Series 6. That's awesome. Got to sign off to eat dinner and catch up on shows. No worries, Nicholas. Go enjoy. And if you want some more help with the posing, just come back to this later. Enjoy the food, man. Pixelated Kairos, thanks for checking. I'm on the fence big time. Ugh. It's so hard. Jimmy Pop, what's going on, man? Thank you for stopping by tonight. Rick, LBZ, glad to have you back in the news. Oh, yeah. Guys, by the way, Toypixx has a Discord. LBZ has been keeping that thing going in there, too. So if you're on Discord, just look up Toypixx. You will find us. I have been, just like on every other social media platform, I have been terrible at checking it, but everybody so far has been very cool. So I will be hopping back in there. So check that out. It's people are having a blast over there, and I resisted for so long because in my head, oh man, it's another thing I have to worry about. But people are keeping it good, so I'm not worried in the slightest. Now, that's what we've got. So far we've gone over walking, we've gone over running, we've gone over crazy punching, we've gone over kicking. How about now we go over some high quality pew-pewing with our boy Duke. Now, for this one, we're not going to go too crazy because I've kind of already got him in the pose. So I'll try and talk you through how this is going. First off, you want the stock as close to the shoulder as you can get it when you're firing the rifles like this. And in fact, when you're firing a pistol, generally with, say, a normal military figure, you're going to want to try and get it like this a little bit. It's not all that realistic, especially with the size of pistols that these figures tend to come with, to be able to just be pew, pew, pew with one hand, generally, and you're not going to shoot as well. So you generally want to try this. So maybe I'll look at pistols here in a little bit too. Now, when it comes to the old rifle, I've got Duke probably holding a little closer to the barrel than he needs to be. But you can see here, I've got his bicep turned right there. Obviously, I've got his elbows turned quite a bit, so he's holding on to the handle. And then I am using, when it comes to this side, the straighter arm, the one that's holding the front of the gun, I am using a lot more of the butterfly joint. So you can see I've got it almost all the way crossing there. And then this is kind of the same deal when we're talking about Nightwing, where we can either have him moving forward slowly and all that stuff, or just in some kind of stance so he's very good and steady on his feet, or we can have him running. But before we get into that, I do want to show you that I've got him turned ever so slightly, a little bit at the waist. Again, I've got his head turned a little bit. I'm trying to get it so it's looking down a little like you've got the sights. It's not a scope, but obviously that's not what we're looking at. Clearly the enemy is fairly close. He doesn't need to be too worried about aiming this one. So that's what we've got with Duke with this weapon. Now, if he's running and he's still pew-pewing, I'm going to angle him up a little bit at the waist. So he's back more like that, because that's going to make up. He's still going to be looking forward while he runs. If I left the waist just like it was, then what would happen is he'd be looking down more at the ground than forward at his target. So it's the same deal as everything else. We've got all that going. He's running. Things get a little different when it comes to firing a weapon, when it comes to arm in front, arms in back, and everything. What you do first is you have them hold the weapon, and then you adjust the legs and everything else accordingly, however you want them running. So right here, I've got Duke running. I've got his ankle back ever so slightly. This foot is back again, just like that. And again, let's bring him back. There we go. So he's looking more forward. And let's see how we do here. Sometimes everything works until you get to actually needing to stand them. And that's when you decide, okay, maybe I could use some copper wire assistance here. Remember, it's 12 gauge copper wire that I use. It's malleable enough to mess with, but strong enough to hold the figure in place. So I've got all that going. I want to bend this leg a little bit again. So again, where we had Nightwing, where the leg was clear out, it looked like this. I wanted to punch this leg more in like that. So we're just about there. I just need to get him to stand. There we go. And even now, even then, you can see where his foot's kind of flat. Even now, you can see he's kind of pointed to the ground. So I still want to try and get him up a little more. There we go. Of course, when I do that, then to balance him with the foot, let's see. All right, so there you go. There's Duke running and shooting. And in fact, I've got some pew-pews here somewhere pretty close by, I think. Let's try and have some fun, see what we can do here. There we go. There we go. There's our boy running and shooting, running and gunning, if you will. So we have a shooting pose. Nothing too crazy there. But that's pretty much most of what I was thinking when it comes to posing. Are there any others anybody would like to see demonstrated? Uncarded, I've been stalking the BBTS daily deals. Lots of nice fodder figures for under $10 and sometimes under $5. Wow. I need to look at those. Got it wrong. Great idea for a stream, Dave. Thanks. Brick, thanks for stopping in, man. I appreciate it. Enjoy the night. Alrighty. Let's have. Thanks again, Paul. Smart move to demonstrate proper weapons holding using Duke. Flint would probably hold the wrong end. And what's great about Flint, he only needs he really just needs a thumb and an index finger for firing a 12 gauge because he's that mighty, which is crazy. I mean, dude's pretty tough. It's nuts. It's nuts. Kyrus, Toypixx, you keep reminding me I want to get the Mesco Duke. I'm doing something wrong. Maybe next time some Wolverine poses. Oh, pixelated. You know what? What kind of Wolverine pose would you like to see? Because, let's see here. I got the old Knucklehead right here. But I would have to get his claws out of the box. Let me know. Let me know what you'd like to see. Maybe, oops. Yay. Sometimes I get a little rowdy, obviously. That's what I love about Mafex, though. You can get a little rowdy and just snap them back together. So let me know, guys, any other poses you'd like to see? Any questions about the poses that I put up so far? What's going on? What are we thinking? Or are there any other topics you're looking at and you're thinking, oh my gosh, how have we not talked about this yet? Keep me posted. Let me know the things. We'll probably go, it's 8:01. I like to keep these streams to about an hour and a half. So why don't we go till about 8:30 tonight? And whatever you guys have to talk about, let's talk about it. And like I said, I will continue showing off poses. Anything anybody wants to see, we'll make it happen. Toypixx, try and get a cigar for that Wolverine. That's a pose I can't pull off because, ooh, you know what, though? Hang on. Okay, it's not necessarily for that Wolverine, but let's see what happens here. Guys, okay. So this is the cigar that Death Adder came with. I'm going to put it in Wolverine's hand because Wolverine, I think, was supposed to come with something like this because his hands are just kind of too perfect for it. Okay, it sucks that the smoke's coming out, but he holds the cigar perfectly. That's awesome. And I don't know, I don't think any of the faces, I don't think you can put the cigar in at all. Oh, that's too bad. But yeah, he holds the cigar perfectly. The one from Death Adder. Pixelated. Let's see. Will be thrown as a fastball special. Nice. I'll tell you what. It's going to be whenever. So that's kind of like flying, right? And flying, I tend to treat like running a little bit just because if you don't do it something more like those lines or more along those lines, they're going to look like they're just static flat boards. So what I'm doing here is I'm bending them back at the waist a little bit. So you get kind of a view there. And this is turned to this way. So I'm going to make this leg do this. Now here, this is a little different. With flying, you can really bend these legs and all that stuff. With running, it can be a little trickier without having the copper tubing or the copper wire, but then you want the copper wire when you're flying too. Now, if I had the hands with the claws, how do I have Wolverine displayed without claw hands? I am the guy, ladies and gentlemen. So when you see, like when you're watching a review and somebody says something like, who's going to display this guy without the claws? Or who's going to display this guy without his mask on and all that? It's me. I'm that guy. So we fire Wolverine off. And it's going to be something similar. And this is kind of similar to flying poses, except maybe not so much. Just because he's doing the fastball special, he would have his claws out. Hang on, I know I'm on the screen, but this isn't really helping just yet. I would also use his yelling face, but it would be something like this. And so what happened there was I bent him back, I turned him at the waist, Then I bent him back, bent this head back a little bit, and you want the head, he's looking at his target. That's where he's headed, right? So you want it, you almost never want the head looking just totally straight on unless you're doing some kind of hero pose. So that's why I've got the head off to the side a little bit. And so he's getting thrown, going like this. His claws normally would obviously be out here. But yeah, I would say that's something that would be pretty close to what I would do for a tossed pose, for a fastball special. So if that helps, game on. I hope it does. But it would definitely be something similar. And because it's me, I'd always try to make sure that the browns on the uniform and the yellow here, that those line up. And those line up pretty well on here. That's one of the nice things about the ball pegs and the diaphragm and the waist is you can always keep the design consistent. But yeah, that would pretty much be it. Another thing I probably didn't say is you always, like when a figure is flying or whatever, or getting thrown around for a fastball special, you always want to make sure their head is as far back as they can be. So for Wolverine here, that's pretty much as far back as I can make his head go. So yeah, there you go. Fastball special. Snickety snickety. All righty. What have we? Awesome. And then some good angles to shoot. Ooh. Ooh. All right. Let's see. Yeah, that is good stuff. Okay. So if you're firing off, if you're shooting Wolverine, for instance, like this, all I'm going to be able to do is kind of try and show you in the camera, right? Or in the viewfinder as far as good angles to shoot. I would say for a fastball special, I kind of like him coming right at you, but a diagonal is a good thing to do always. I mean, it just adds to the drama. Maybe not, like it doesn't have to be a crazy diagonal, but maybe something like this is a good angle to shoot for this Wolverine. They're coming at you, maybe a little more like that. I think that'd work. Now, when we're talking about, let's say, let's just grab these figures that I've already done this for. When we're talking about this, I kind of like this angle a little bit for Nightwing. I also like a little worm's eye action. So you're kind of looking up at him as he goes. You just got to kind of see what works for the shot. This isn't so bad. This, if he's throwing, I mean, really, you could turn the camera, you can turn the figure and just see until you see a good spot that you like. Chances are, and this is, I don't want to sound reductive here, but chances are, if you're looking at the camera and you see something that you think is going to look really cool, chances are other people are going to think so too. So like I'm looking at this, I don't really care for that so much, but I do think that's okay. I think that's pretty cool. I do like the worm's eye on that. And you could also try the bird's eye if you're looking down at him, given that big swing. So it really just depends on the pose. It depends on what you like. It depends on what you're trying to achieve. If I'm shooting this picture with Nightwing and I'm punching somebody, right? Ooh, that's kind of cool too. Where you're kind of seeing the back of them a little bit. But generally what I would do is kind of like this, maybe put him on this side of the screen, right? So he's got the punch, and then let's see. Let's grab Ryu, why not? And then maybe coming way close to the screen is the guy that got punched. Whoop. Kind of like this. And that's where you would use the copper wire or try and figure out what the pose would be, whatever, to try and make him look right. So there's kind of an angle for Nightwing for that pose. For Duke here, again, just depends on what you're trying to achieve. This might work. Maybe he's just going right across the screen trying to take somebody down. Maybe you want a nice shot of his face when he's right up getting ready to fire away. So you do something like that. I mean, it all really depends on what you're trying to pull. The one thing to keep in mind is very rarely do you want straight on. Like one of the things Jim Lee always used to do, he would have a big group shot of characters, and they might be fairly straight on with some of the characters on the sides at more of an angle, looking at the villain, kind of like the, I don't know, the big posing up a storm shot kind of deal. Everybody's there posing. They just busted through a wall, but they look super cool, that kind of thing. That's when you might have a character like Cyclops looking straight ahead. But when we're talking action, keep in mind diagonals are always a big deal when it comes to making that happen. So you can have this, and that's kind of cool, but this tends to look a little better. You got this diagonal, you got that diagonal, you got just do. But yeah, diagonals are a big deal when it comes to action. Again, though, if you're just doing one of those, I broke through a wall and I'm awesome shots, like, hold on, let's show with Ryu right now. You could have somebody just looking right at the villain. I should be doing this a little more, huh? And they're like, yeah, I'm kind of the man. Kind of like how Cyclops acts like he's the man when everybody knows Wolverine's the man. Not that I want to start another Duke versus Flint kind of thing, but I think most would agree with me on the Cyclops Wolverine thing. So you could have something more like that. That's terrible. That is an awful demonstration of what I'm trying to show. Hang on. His arm is just not doing it on this side. Why? Why do you hate me, Ryu? That's a little better, but not much. But sometimes you could get away with that kind of look where he's just looking at M. Bison, or maybe he's looking at Sagat, just like, yeah, what? What you gonna do? And those kinds of shots, it's totally okay to just look forward. You bet, Pixelated. No worries, man. Let's see. See, that's a really cool G.I. Joe figure. His character must kick all kinds of glutes. I have said a zillion times, he's a great figure. But man, am I going to have fun when that Flint figure gets here. Scott, oh no, Spaded, how can we be so different? The Storm Arena wouldn't hate you. You're probably right, Pixelated. I do want to try one. I gotta be careful. You know what's weird? I want to load up on these guys. These guys are awesome. But yeah, so that's kind of I guess the posing the big picture so much. I just got the Storm Arena Ryu and Ken. Oh boy, they're somehow a better value than Jada. It's stunning. But yeah, I mean, everything I've seen does make them look like they are objectively better figures, which is mind-blowing because Jada killed it. High quality H2O. But yeah, all right, look at that. The screen. I love how the screen shakes because this table isn't exactly all that heavy. Pixelated, you tell no lies. I know. I do need to. There's a lot of things I got to do, obviously. All right, well, we've got a slight break in the action. I would feel remiss if I didn't bring this up. This month's Patreon photo contest theme is teams. And there you go. That's an example of a team shot. It's open to all the people that are in the Grande tier or higher on the Toypixx Patreon. That's the $5 tier. And the winner, by vote, not by a spinning wheel and not by the luck of the draw, gets 2 G.I. Joe Classified Retro Vipers. I still don't have any. So I wanted to make sure you guys knew what was up with that. If you haven't seen any of these live streams yet, I've been talking about that this month. This is going to be, well, it is a monthly thing. I missed a couple months there because nobody tried and won. So I thought, you know what? That's my bad. I need to start marketing this stuff better. So those of you who watch this all the time and see this and you're like, oh man, we know, we know. Well, hey, this is for the people that don't know. It's kind of like when a new version of a figure comes out. Skew Spaded, did you suggest an Optic Blast fastball special too? But they do it on a foosball and skee ball table. Deadpool will stop egging you on with foolishness for now. I still need, man, I need that Mofex Deadpool, the red one. Oh, Spaded is Star here. The Fig 016, David and Lucy are up. I have not seen Star yet here tonight. But yeah, I did see those were up. They look pretty amazing. So yeah, you know he's going to go nuts when it comes to that stuff. Whoo! Okay, so we are back to this. Toypixx, the Berserker Empress Dino, good for Savage Land, looks amazing. Got it today in the mail. Very nice, Kyrus. The Berserker Empress Dino. Let's go. Let's hop on over to that. Wait a sec. What just happened? Stop it. Ah. Okay. All right. Here's the deal. One day I will get used to Windows. I don't know what's going on here. Like I've got something that is saying, hey, buy stuff, and I can't get out of it. There we go. All right, Berserker Empress Dino. I'm telling you, folks, the reason the AI needs to take over the world is because we as a society have decided that Microsoft is the best professional software out there. That's why. I mean, AI needs to take over because we clearly don't understand good things. Okay. Namu Studio Berserker Empress. Oh, yeah, I think we did talk about these. I think we did talk about those last time, Kyrus. They're awesome. Those dinos, they're very sweet. How big? That's the dino that I think is 16.5 inches across. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Pretty close. It's from Nanmu. Yep. Yeah, hang on. I did find it. But I forgot this is the page where I'm annoyed because they don't show their product any better than they do. Here we go. Namu Studio Berserker Empress 2.0 action figure. I mean, it looks like a sweet dino for sure. But I'm going to see if I can find a better. I don't remember where I went last time to make it awesome. Like so that we saw a really good shot of it. Wait. Ah, here we go. That'll work. Well, that's so bloody. Yeah, I mean, I can't argue. This thing looks amazing, especially if anybody out there is building a Savage Land diorama. Skew, are these the guy and gal from 5K Toys? I don't know. The Tiger Stripe version looks amazing too. I'm sure. These are all rad. Pixelated, which company makes Raptors that work at 1/12 scale? I got, what was it? It was the Mattel. Well, here, I've got them on the desk actually. It was the Mattel Amber Collection Velociraptor. Now, I don't know how hard they are to find on Amazon. I think this one is tough to find because it was the first one, but they made a bunch of them. But yeah, this was the Amber World one. And I got him because I thought he was perfect. I still want to get one of those giant T-Rexes. I think they're pretty sweet. This one has a little bit of a bendy wire tail going on. His articulation is pretty ridiculous. He looks the part. I mean, that's an angry dino. But yeah, if you can find any kind of Jurassic World or Jurassic Park Amber Collection figures from Mattel, this thing was supposed to be 1/12 scale. And one of those colossal T-Rexes would also be 1/12 scale, I believe. I got one for my niece. It absolutely dwarfs the figures on my table right now. Faux show. I just want articulated primates. Dinos are cool and all, but I want freaking monkeys and apes. I get it, man. Those are cool. What's going on, Miss Cogsmith? Good to see you tonight. Are you having fun yet? That's the key. We've gone through a lot of poses. So again, everybody, if anybody can think of any other pose they want to see, fire away. Let me know. Mattel did Jurassic Park. Yep. Faux show. Big C Richie, what's going on, man? Seems like more Maximum Series drama in the community. Yeah, I saw that Deadpool got shown. I didn't really keep up with any of the drama. All I was looking for, this is terrible. Whenever I see any kind of new Marvel Legends drop, all I'm looking for is to see if I can tell if there's a ball peg waist. Because I don't think that Deadpool looks bad at all, but I didn't see any evidence of a ball peg waist, which kind of bummed me out. Superhero landing pose. I feel like I almost need Iron Man for that. Wonder if he can do a good one. I don't know. I haven't tried that. Let's see here. All right, now I don't have Iron Man stuff. I'm trying to think. It's been a while since I've even thought of the superhero landing pose. But Iron Man might be a good call because the Mafex Iron Man has this that goes way out like that in the butterfly joint. You could have him so he's straight on like that and it looks fine, but then you use that butterfly joint and bam. So let's see here. I think he actually can come pretty close. I don't know if I can get the hand all the way down. Can come close. Let's see here. Ooh, if I can get that leg a little more up. How's the other leg? So you got the one leg that's in the front. I'm trying to picture the superhero landing. Is that pretty much it? Is that pretty close to a superhero landing pose, or am I off somehow? Help me out. I might have to actually look it up. Actually, it looks like I think that the arm's usually out a little more like that, right? Let's see. Let me see if I've got him so he's able to. Yep, he is able to stay like that. So that's pretty close to a superhero landing pose. Woohoo! I got one. Although I think their heads are usually down a little more when they land, aren't they? So it's more like that. Except I want his arm more like that, I think. All right, let's see. Let's see what the people are saying. Skew, Tony better hit that pose. Oh, Toypixx, did you see the new Marv figure 112 from Sin City? It uses the Atom body and it's really good looking. I saw a Marv figure. Who was it? Who's doing Marv, guys? Was it InArt or is it LPZZ? I think it was one of those, but I could, or was it Mezco? I don't remember. Big C, looks like Storm Arena Sideline Baki, which was supposed to release first for Yujiro. Are you in on all Storm Arena or just Street Fighter? Big C, I'm not even sure I'm in on any Storm Arena yet. Only because I'm waiting to see how far they go a little bit with the line, and I've already got my Jada going. So I don't know. I know I need to try them out. So it might actually be figures that aren't Street Fighter, but I don't know. We'll see. I know I definitely want to try them out. Have you tried them out at all? The Hasbro Marvel Legends team can't catch a break. Each of the last three, releases has been met with more groans than applause. I don't know what to say about that, man. I mean, I think they kind of hose themselves with just calling it Maximum Series, honestly, because now you look at them and you're like, wait, I mean, just based on the name alone, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but based on the name alone, you would think, so this is the best you're ever going to do, right? Is that basically what I'm seeing here? Because if that's the best they're ever going to do, there's still no ball peg waste and things like that. So, I mean, for me, from a photography perspective, Marvel Legends right now just feels kind of like a non-starter, but I know a lot of people really dig them. And again, that Deadpool looks phenomenal. But I don't know. I don't know. I hope they're able to figure it out. And I hope they're able to keep that line going for a long time. I don't see it dying anytime soon. People seem really excited about it still, but I just haven't seen near as much of it in Target. And I know that's not good. So we'll see. I mean, maybe it has to take some kind of leap forward that it hasn't figured out yet, but hopefully they'll figure it out. It's a great Iron Man figure. It is, man. I love this Tony Kyrus. This is the figure when people talk about how, oh my gosh, those Mafex figures are so much money on BBTS. Then I look and I'm going, yeah, but this figure I think I got for $30 or $40 less on Ami Ami than I did BBTS, or than I would have if I'd used BBTS. So yeah, they are pretty pricey on BBTS, but you don't have to spend that much money. You know what I am saying? Facts. Yeah, I know. Ooh, there you go. While we're down there, maybe a crouched firing pose. Crouched firing pose. Let's see. Oh, man. You're really putting Iron Man through the paces. I almost never use this Iron Man. Let's see. I'm thinking as I go, and that's never a good thing. So something kind of like this, perhaps. Maybe. You get the arm, you can bend the arm a little bit, you get this up, you angle the head so that you make sure you're looking at your target. You use the ball pegs, like you got the waist and the diaphragm going, give them some good movement there. You got that arm going back a little bit, maybe even going more like that. Yeah, that might work. I might actually spin him a little more like that, just so he's a little more forward. There we go. Let's try that. We'll go with that one. Yay, Iron Man. Okay. Woo, now I'm losing. What do we have? Storm Arena is way ahead of Jada. They've already announced 6 characters. Jada will only be able to get 3 out from Alpha by the end of next year. But where Jada's got them is Storm itself doesn't have a good track record of completing lines. And Jada is already going to knock out Street Fighter 2 and looks like they're going to knock out Mega Man. And I think that's where, I think objectively, everybody would say that Storm Arena does make better figures. But the one concern people have is, yeah, but are they going to finish what they start? So that's kind of the gamble, I think, that people wonder about with Storm Arena versus Jada. But yeah, I mean, they are, as far as Alpha goes, yeah, they are way ahead. And Jada does do a trickle release. But we'll see. I'm curious to see how it goes. From a brand perspective, I think Jada ends up winning because they had such a head start and they're going to finish. But I don't know. I can't be sure. I know when it comes to brand, a lot of times first is the most important thing. And how many people really are going to collect both lines, I don't know. And how many people that started Jada way back are going to jump into Storm Arena and just forget all their Jada. I don't know. It's going to be interesting from a business perspective to see how the two of them play out. That Max Deadpool costs as much as in-art Batman before shipping and import fees. Wow. I did not compare it like that. It's on 5K Toys, the Marv figure. Okay, Kyrus. All right. We might check that here in a bit. Let's see what everybody's got going first. Facts. Plus, he even says maximum effort. I almost put maximum effort because I figured people would want to talk about that Deadpool tonight. Almost put that in the title. Pretty sure Maximum is fan channel and has never made it to any Targets or Walmarts. Ooh, I don't know. I've never seen them, but I also never looked for them, so I couldn't tell you. Yep, it is. I did not know that. Big C Richie is right. Storm Arena blows Jada away somehow. Not a knock on Jada at all, but Storm Arena versus Jada feels like Marvel Legends versus Mafex. Ouch. And at the same price. That's pretty amazing. Like Jada is meant to compete with Legends Engineering, and Storm, let's see, Arena has years of premium work to shrink down. That's true for sure. I don't think anyone is going to finish Alpha roster in almost 30 characters long, with both companies releasing 3 to 5 a year. That roster would take 5 to 6 years. That's true. But what I guess what I'm getting at is Jada has a track record at this point of completing lines, whereas Storm Arena doesn't. And I mean, objectively, I've seen a bunch of reviews. I would say objectively, Storm Arena has better figures for sure. I just don't know that they're going to finish anything because their past performance does not dictate that they have a strong track record of trying to finish anything. So would they finish Baki, for instance? Will they finish Darkstalkers? I don't know. Pixelated for now. Storm and Jada complement each other. I'm waiting for Sagat. I'm happy with the Jada I have, but now it's a case of wait and compare. Yeah, and that makes sense. That makes sense too. Just see who ends up being, which one fits better in your collection. Didn't Jada straight up say they had no intention of completing Alpha and we're going to, let's see, hop around lines going forward? I don't know that, Spaded One. Maybe they did. I don't remember if June said that or not. So if anybody has that information, let us know. But I mean, if that's the case, then maybe you finish off Street Fighter 2, you finish off Mega Man, and then you kind of just go from there and just pick whatever. Like maybe if they have no intention of finishing Alpha, then yeah, you finish Street Fighter 2 from Jada, and maybe then you just jump to Storm Arena because the prices are so comparable. Who really knows? Holy crap, it's 8:32. We got talking. I got having fun. But you all got having fun too, I'm hoping. So thanks for stopping by this fine evening to check out some posing demonstrations. Hopefully you guys got a little something out of it. If not, hey, I'll do better next time. Let me know in the comments if you're checking this out after the replay or during a replay instead of checking it out in live stream. Let me know what positions or poses you'd like to see these guys go for, and we'll see if we can nail it with a video or another live stream at some point in the future. Now, thanks for taking the time to hang out this fine evening, everybody. You could have done anything tonight, and you chose to spend some of it here with all of us. So thank you. I appreciate it. And until next time, have fun and happy snapping. See ya. Now, this is where things get awkward. I hit the end stream, and then I